Competency can be defined as the efficient and effective performance of a specific task, with competency demonstrated in 3 domains. The first domain is the cognitive or knowledge domain, which can be defined as the worker having a sound knowledge base related to the competent performance of a specific task. If we look at the example of a chef, the chef is required to have knowledge of surface area to volume ratios, or density of food items, and their relationship to heat penetration. In simplistic terms, the chef needs to know that food items with greater density will take longer for heat penetration and will therefore incur longer cooking times. The next domain is the psychomotor or skills domain, which involves having a coordinated skills base related to the competent performance of a specific task. If we again look at the example of the chef needs the ability to use and manipulate cooking plant and equipment both effectively and efficiently. The last domain is the affective or attitude domain, which requires the worker to consistently display a competent attitude when performing specific tasks. If we again look at the example of a chef is said to be competent in this affective domain when they can undertake specific tasks by following standard operating procedures, undertaking processes of quality assurance, working safely, and identifying opportunities for continuous improvement. It is a critical skill for workers to assess their competency levels against the task requirements for each work task required to be undertaken on the job. The first step in this process is to confirm and define the task requirements related to the position. This can be undertaken by reviewing the job description and person specification related to the job, as well as consulting with immediate supervisors. The next step is to list or map the required skills, knowledge, and attitudes required to competently undertake each task. This is then followed by the compilation of evidence against each work task, which demonstrates capacity to competently perform each task. Evidence can include outcomes from previous projects, personal curriculum vitae, performance appraisals, letters of recommendation, work samples, certificates, and so forth. The last steps is to both identify the gaps in consultation with immediate supervisors or management, and then identify vehicles of professional development or the types of activities that can be undertaken to build competency so that the worker possesses all skills, knowledge, and attitudes to competently perform all work tasks. Such professional development activities can include mentoring, formal and informal training, coaching, and professional memberships, to name a few. The following is a simplistic example of this process being undertaken by a person employed by a marketing company. The worker has identified from their job description that they are required to identify market segments. The knowledge, skills, and attitude requirements to competently perform this task skill are listed and color-coded. Green represents the knowledge domain, orange represents the skills domain, and blue represents the attitude domain. Of course, there may be multiple knowledge, skills, and attitudes required to competently perform a work task, but we have elected to nominate one only. In this example, to competently identify market segments, the worker needs the knowledge to undertake demographic profiling. The worker has also supplied evidence of competency in demographic profiling by presenting prior work samples such as formal reports. The worker also needs skills to use software applications in analytics, and in this example the worker has not been able to produce evidence of competency in this domain. As a result, a professional development activity which is participating in formal training has been identified and agreed to by both the worker and their immediate supervisor or manager. Finally, the worker needs the attitude to work towards strict deadlines, and the worker has been able to produce evidence in this domain in the form of previous performance appraisals and letters of recommendation. It is also important to document this process and undertake this process regularly to ensure individual skills profiles remain current and competent. This self-direction not only builds capacity to work competently on the job, but communicates to your employer that your level of self-direction and commitment to competent performance is an asset to the company or business, and of course, highly transferable and marketable to other prospective employers.